Hi there, and welcome to Saxophone, the 5-minute saxophone lesson podcast. Today we are going to be finishing our series on buying an instrument with buying your forever horn. Now, some people might disagree with the concept of having one saxophone forever, but as someone who got her first pro sax at 17 and I still haven't got rid of this and I don't want to get rid of this, here are some tips for purchasing an instrument that you are really going to love. So I definitely recommend getting a pro instrument if you are looking to pursue music after school and as a career. You don't need to wait till you get to a university program to upgrade to a pro instrument, but you might want to wait until you're sure you're going to play this instrument for a while before outlaying the money, because a pro saxophone is expensive. It is. So you want to make sure you're purchasing something that you love. Now, with pro instruments, a lot of people tend to choose an instrument that, say, their teacher plays, or that a saxophone player that they love, someone whose recordings they lap up, they go out and purchase the same thing as that person. But this is something I actually actively advise against. And when my students go out to purchase a pro instrument, I actually encourage them to try playtest as many different models as they can. So what I'm looking for is for them to get an idea of what their sound is. So in this instance, I often recommend that students have a really set idea of what mouthpiece, ligature, and reed combo they prefer. And because we've probably worked on that when they were a beginner or they upgraded to their intermediate horn, quite often I actually get my students to get a professional quality level mouthpiece at that intermediate stage, or instead of buying an intermediate horn, buy a pro mouthpiece to take your younger horn, your beginner horn, through those years. They know exactly what setup they want. Because when you're play testing professional horns, I like to have a little bit of consistency. I'd like to have a mouthpiece reed ligature combo that I know I like, so I can hear what that combo sounds like on all the different horns that I try. And for me, I'm looking for a range of brands and a range of lacquer finishes to try. So if you're just trying, or you have your heart set on one brand, that's fine. If you have your heart set on one idea, go for it. But don't forget to try what else is out there, to see what else is out there, just to check that what you've got your heart set on is what you actually like. You will be surprised. So when I was purchasing, this is a Series 3 Selma Alto, bought circa 2007. She's an old horn now. I actually tried a whole heap of instruments and fell in love with a Selma Reference 54, and it was a big toss up to me which instrument to go for. I ended up going for the Series 3 because I realized that what I liked about the Reference 54, I could get on the Series 3. I could get both of the colors and sounds that I was liking, whereas on the Reference 54, I was only able to get one sound, one musical idea. So I really wanted to make sure that I picked an instrument that gave me versatility. If I was going to go into a professional career, I needed an instrument that gave me the ability to work in many different musical genres, many different scenarios, and to explore my sound as well. My teacher at university used to say that if I sounded like him, he wasn't doing the right job. His whole kind of ethos was to set me up as my own musician, as my own saxophone player. I wasn't there to become a mini him. I was there to become myself. And I think having that input around the time when I was buying this instrument was really, really crucial, because it meant that I went out and chose something that allowed me to find my sound instead of dictating what my sound was going to be. So I liked the Reference 54. I loved the sound I got on that horn, but I realized it wasn't flexible enough for me personally. And that's why I went the Series 3. So for buying your forever horn, you need to try options. You need to have your mouthpiece ligature and reed combo pretty set to help you have something to compare against. You definitely, just as a side note, you can try different reed sizes when you're moving across, but I like to have that sense of consistency when you're comparing different instruments and already having an idea of what you like. And I definitely recommend, if your teacher is able to go with you, or maybe some fellow musicians, having a second set of ears in the room when you go to purchase a forever horn can be really useful, because sometimes we just need an outside perspective to help us compare. If you can't have anyone go with you, some recordings can be really useful, particularly if you're able to, say, record yourself playing the same piece on different models, and then taking those recordings, say, to your next lesson and going, all right, blind sample, let me play you 3 recordings. Which one did you like? And that can be kind of a fun way of you and your teacher kind of exploring what you sound like on different instruments. I think finally, when you're choosing your forever horn, and I feel like I'm repeating myself in these 3 episodes, but you do need to choose a horn that you love. If you're not 100% sold on it, me personally, I wouldn't spend the money. I would take the time to keep searching and keep looking until you find an instrument that, it's kind of like the wands in Harry Potter, right? You've got the perfect saxophone for you. It's chosen you and you've chosen it, and you love the way you sound. That's what I would go for, because quite frankly, it's a lot of money. And particularly if you're choosing certain brands, you're going to be spending more money than others. There are some brands that are putting out pro instruments that I think are really reasonably priced, but it's an investment. It's definitely something that you want to get right. You don't want to spend that much money and then be unhappy with the way you sound. Okay, so that's my tips on buying a forever horn. If you do go out and purchase something, please tell me in the comments. I'd love to hear about what people buy and what people are getting up to. And until next time, this has been Sax Bites, the 5-minute saxophone lesson podcast. Bye-bye.